All right, everybody. We are going to go ahead and get started here with Jon Rahm here at the 2023 Tour Championship. Jon, this is your 7th consecutive appearance at the Tour Championship, tied for the longest active streak. So just some opening comments on being back here, being back at this golf course, and chasing first FedEx Cup.
It's always great. It's always great to be back. It means that you've had a really good year. You know, it's a very select group of people that get to enjoy playing this golf course. Sorry, what's that noise?
It's just the AC noise.
Okay. No, like a beeping noise. You sure it's okay? Yeah. Okay. It's, you know, to me, it's one of the favorite tournaments that we play all year. It's a great quality golf course. It's always in great shape. Even the years we've had quite a bit of rain. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to hopefully winning my first FedEx Cup. I've been close in the past, and I've played good here. So looking forward to the week.
And then just specifically this golf course, you've had a lot of experience here and a lot of rounds. I guess what makes this a course that's worthy of the playoff finale here?
I like it because it's very difficult to assert a dominance, right? Like Rory's played good here, obviously, but you can't shy away, right? You can't be missing shots and somehow maneuver around this golf course. Like you eventually have to play good golf and put the ball in the fairway to give yourself a chance to attack those pins, right? And those greens, some of them have a lot of slope to it. They're tricky. So even though you can score out here, you need to be the better player. Right? You need to be the better player for the week and show it. That's why I think is very fitting for this tournament.
Perfect. All right, folks, we'll go and open up to questions. If you have a question, just raise your hand, and we will get a microphone over to you. Start right here with Dylan. The mic right here.
Jon, when you hear a stat like that you are the longest tenured guy at this tournament, that's usually like a real veteran-related stat. Like, how does that make you feel when you hear that?
It feels good. It feels really good, but to be 100% honest, I'll gladly give up that streak and be able to say that I have a win out here, right? So those stats, I feel like are going to be a lot more meaningful maybe later in the career. But as in right now, with the good position I've given myself almost every single year I've come to the playoffs, I want to be able to say I'm a FedEx Cup champion.
Does any part of you still feel new out here in general on the
new
tour? Yeah.
Well, you always learn things, but no, I think that feeling of being the rookie is gone. Yeah, I would like to say so, but no, obviously it's been seven years already, so I can't say I'm in that position anymore.
Gonna go over here to Dan.
Jon, can you hear me?
Yeah.
With so many big titles, you got the majors, the Players, the Ryder Cup. Where does winning a FedEx Cup rank for you? And do you get the sense that it might be of more importance to the players than maybe people understand?
Well, I wouldn't want to give you a ranking while I'm here at the FedEx Cup finale of what's more important than others. But obviously, majors are the most important thing in golf, right? That's how it's been, and that's kind of how it is. But there's a difference to being the FedEx Cup champion, just because you enter the playoffs in certain position, you earn your spot to this week, and then to just be able to finish it off, right? It feels like it's more than just 1 week. It's a combination of a whole year and this last 3 weeks in a row, right? So it has a bit of a different special feel to it. With that said, you might be able to get a more elaborate answer from somebody who's actually won either one, right? Like a major and the FedEx Cup or Players or something like that to be able to assess. Because a lot of times I don't realize the magnitude of certain things in my mind until it's happened, right? I would have told you that the U.S. Open would have been my most meaningful win until the Masters happened. Even though it was my first major, that Masters win felt very, very different for some reason, right? I can't explain it why, but it was very, very special. above what the U.S. Open was.
And then I saw you made some comments, I think it was a couple weeks ago or months ago, that you got a little bit tired after the Masters, that there was just a little too much that you took on. What did you learn about yourself this year?
Well, it was first time for me being in contention for so many weeks in a row, and being in contention every time, it's a little bit more taxing, right? Like it's, especially Sundays, if you're on the lead or close to the lead mentally, right? You think you're always putting the same output, but the pressure is a little bit different, right? So just, you know, leading up to the Masters and what that week was, I mean, how with the delays and the weekend I had to play, it's a little bit tired. Went to Hilton Head and still performed good, and I never quite did have enough time to be able to, like I would say, fully recover from that. And it was like a slow process for that to happen. But that is, you know, I mean, that's the beauty of golf, right? There's always the following week, and it's a good thing that happened. I learned a lot about myself, and hopefully for the next time, I'll be better prepared to handle it.
John, we're just going to go right over here to Chris.
Yes, sir. You just talked about the specifics of the course, but when you come back next year, it's going to be a totally different course. I just wondered what you know about that, and then how you think those changes might affect.
So is it a renovation or a redo? I don't know yet.
It's a renovation.
So are they just redoing reshaping the bunkers, or actually redesigning golf course, like holes at all? Like I really have no idea. So if it was up to me, there's not much that this golf course needs changing. With that said, the golf course does belong to the members, so the members should do whatever the members think is best for the golf course. That's what I would say, right? I think it's great the way it is right now, but if they want to make it member friendly, I am nobody to object against that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Steve, go. Yeah. Steve, you have one right here? Yeah.
No,
It's fine.
sorry.
If that's okay. We'll get to everybody.
I'll try to make this worth the trouble there. Those of us out on the one side of the ropes can look at Rory, someone of his stature, and how he hits it so far, and am amazed, frankly. I don't know how people a little closer to the situation look at how far he can hit the ball.
I mean, at this point, maybe the first few times you're impressed. At this point, it's just the norm. You know he's going to step up there and hit it past you. So, I mean, it's just, I think it's more of a surprise when maybe it looks like he hits a good one and we get close to him. Right? But I mean, there's no ego involved in that, right? Like, I'm 100% confident he can hit it harder than me if he needs to. So I don't, like, at this point, it's not a surprise, no.
Okay. All right, we're going to pop back over here, John.
Hi, John. Just a question about the Sunday at the BMW with Victor shooting a 61. Can I just have your thoughts about that achievement, and who do you think is going into the Tour Championship as the biggest favorite?
I'm in here.
John, off of what happened with Max this past weekend, have you had a gambling-related interaction with a fan, and then about
what happened? I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Well, there was a fan who was trying to get into Max's head and talk during one of his putts, and said he had a bet on him missing the putt. Max made the putt, but obviously it was a concern that the fan is trying to impact the game. So my question is, have you had an incident like that with a fan, and do you have concerns about that going forward?
I feel like we hear it every single round. That happens way more often than you guys may hear. I mean, it's very, very present. In golf, spectators are very close, and even if they're not directly talking to you, they're close enough to where if they say to your buddy, I bet you $10 he's going to miss it, you hear it. So it happens more often than you think, yeah. I mean, but not only that, on the tee and down the fairway. I mean, luckily, golf fans are pretty good for the most part, and you're hearing the positive, right? Like, I got $20, you make birdie here, things like that. But it's more often than you think.
Is that something
it's not caught on TV, maybe, yeah, but it's something that happens, yeah.
Is that something that you think the Tour ought to step in and take control over, or is it just part of the cost of being that close?
You know, in a game like this where you're allowed to have your favorites, but it's not a team aspect, right? It's not a home team against a visiting team. I think the Tour maybe should look into it, because you don't want it to get out of hand, right? It's very easy, very, very easy in golf if you want to affect somebody, right? You're so close, you can yell at the wrong time, and it's very easy for that to happen. So I think they could look into it. But at the same time, it would be extremely difficult for the tour to somehow control the 50,000 people scattered around the golf course, right? So it's a complicated subject. You don't want it to get out of control, but you also want to have the fans to have the experience they want to have. So,
okay, just do a couple more here with Bob.
Jon, this is year 5 of the staggered strokes format at the Tour Championship. Having done both, do you have a preference? Are you good with this, the way that we're doing it now, and or did you like the old way better?
I think the last few years I've spoken about this format. It's easier to understand. I don't think is the best we can come up with. Right? I think I've expressed my dislike towards the fact that you can come in ranked #1 in the FedEx Cup. You can win every single tournament up until this one. You have a bad week, you finish 30th, and now you'll forever be known as 30th in the FedEx Cup this season. I don't think that's very fair. I did like the old format where if you came in as #1, you really rarely ever fell out of top 3, right? I thought that was a little bit better. And I know the people that are good with numbers and statistics and all those that and probability, they ran the numbers, and I know they say this format comes out to the same, but you know, when you're in 5th place, you are 5 under, so you're 5 shots from the lead, but you're also 5 shots from 30th place. So that to me just doesn't make much sense, right? So I think they could come, you know, if you come in 30th place, it's a much better chance now of actually finishing in the top 5 than you had before. Before you had to win. You don't have to win, right? So I don't think it's the best, but it is the easiest to understand, right? So if you ask me, I think we can come up with something better. The other thing I do think is you can come in on the 18th hole with a 5-shot lead, right? You play it easy. Let's say you make a bogey, and you risk losing world ranking points, but you're winning the FedEx Cup, right? It's a little odd that you get awarded world ranking points for a tournament you may not win or you may not celebrate at the end. In my case, I like the previous format a little bit better than this one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do one more here.
Hey, Jon. So obviously a couple weeks ago in Memphis, it was really hot, humid. It's going to be very similar this week. So what have you learned from playing through that heat and humidity in Memphis, and what are you going to try and focus on, try to battle through that this week?
You just got to deal with it. I mean, there's no way to hide around it. Even though there's a couple of trees and there might be a shade, it really doesn't make that much of a difference, right? So, especially with 2 zones, this is not the time to wait. So, just hydrate. That's all I can say. I mean, you got to make sure you're hydrated and keep on going. Not necessarily for the first day, but making sure Sunday you have the energy and your body has what it needs to be able to perform. There's no trick really I could tell you.
Actually, one more right
Hey,
here.
Jon, you talked earlier about winning the Masters and etching your name in that history. If you looked at 2023 as a whole and you finish it this week by winning, how special and significant would that cap off 2023 as a whole for you?
Oh, it would be incredible. It would be really, really. It's already been a great year, right? And to cap it off, winning the FedEx Cup would be absolutely incredible. It would be something that very few players have done, right? Win multiple tournaments, a major, and the FedEx Cup. So I'm hoping I can be the one that can etch his name next to that.